Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing the ultra mega tier list for Maplestory. I know it's been a long time coming, and today we're doing the 2025 review of all the classes. Don't worry, I got you covered. I'm going to go really in depth this time. It's not going to be no BS, no yapping. I'm going to really go in depth and tell you guys what you need to know about these classes. I'm going to be doing it based on damage, how smooth they are. It just overall is it enjoyable to play the class. Now, luckily for us, most of Maplestory's classes are pretty good already. So, and with a lot of the new updates and fifth job, a lot of them feel good and there's a lot of changes, but there are still a lot of clunky classes as well. So let's get straight on into it. I'm going to bring up the tier list and yeah, let's do it. Where should we start? Where should we start? I think we should start. All right, guys. I think we should start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. We're going to start with Angelic Burster. All right, Angelic Burster is up first. Now, this is one of Maplestory's best classes in my opinion because they're unique. They kind of have their own they have their own everything. They have their own unique system for dressing up. Um, and they were very strong when they came out. I think Angelic Burster actually signaled like the first real OP class to come out. Her skills were huge and they covered the entire map, and she just didn't stop killing the entire map. It was crazy. So let's go to a training map and I can kind of show you guys what's going on. So, is there anything wrong with Angelic Burster? Okay, I'm definitely not strong enough. This is just a mule. Is there anything wrong with Angelic Burster? No, not necessarily. When all your skills are off cooldown or on cooldown, it does seem a little bit slow. That's like the only negative for Angelic Burster. But it's a very unique class, does tons of damage, has one of the best buffs in the game, terms and condition, and it does actually more damage if you are Angelic Burster herself. It does like I think double the damage. So very good class. Okay, so Angelic Burster, we actually need to rename these. All right, listen, damage is very important in Maplestory. If your main does do damage, especially for if you don't have any boss mules or if it's your first or second main, you're gonna need to choose a main that does damage. It just is what it is because you're gonna be having a tough time clearing bosses, getting 5% if you're one of the weaker teammates when you're in a party. You just need to pick a class that does damage, okay? Now, Angelic Burst is actually at the bottom of the list. That's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Wow. Well, she. Yeah, I'm still gonna give it being a main just because it's a very unique class and it feels good when you do the attacks. That's one of the things too. Speaking of not feeling good when doing attacks, Adele. Adele is a great example of the it just doesn't feel right. Like when in game development, when your character is attacking, you want to have the right amount of VFX, sound effects, visual effects, and you want to shake the screen a little bit. Like it just has to feel like you're actually hitting the mob. So we're just gonna head over to any map right now, and the main attack where it's two swords crossing, I don't know what it is about the attack itself, but it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it makes an impact, if that makes sense. Like it's it's not my favorite. Okay, we'll just say that. It's I don't know. See, it's like it's kind of I don't know if it's kind of slow or if it's not big enough or I just think it's all of the above, really. And her the main thing is, your knives flying around, right? And that's actually really cool. Like, don't get me wrong, Adele is freaking cool with the knives flying around, but it's her main skill that just makes the class feel kind of weird. Okay. And because most of your skills, like, your hyper skill and even one of your fifth job skills is just making more swords appear on the map, it doesn't really help the fact that it doesn't feel good. Okay, so that's really my main problem with Adele. And I played Adele the day it came out, and the swords are so cool. And if it just had a different main attack, I don't know what it is. It's hard to, actually understand what I'm talking about. But the main attack just needs to be bigger. It needs to be faster. It needs to like they just need to change the main attack, and then give more skills that do more than just the swords flying around, because that's really all you get. You just get more swords, and that's it, really. So Adele, although one of the coolest concepts and classes, is really just well. Let's check the damage first. It might be yeah. See, it's up there with damage. So it's a good boss mule. We'll put it as a boss mule. Ooh, Aran. Aran is good. Let's check the DPS. Ooh, it's down there. It's down there. I'm surprised Marksman's down there too. Man, this is crazy. Okay, so Aran is just gonna be a mule. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, it's gonna be an XP mule. Like Aran is great if you want a warrior class that's fun, but it has problems as well. The main problem with Aran is your basic attack is your main attack, and it just doesn't feel right. I'm not a big fan of I myself am not a big fan of having the main attack become an attack, because I don't know, just it's just never felt right to me. So that's Iran. I'm not going to give too much on Iran because I haven't actually made an Iran yet. So I haven't. There's only a few classes I haven't made, and that's one of them. Recently. Okay, I've made them all in the past, but I'm talking about recently because I want to give an actual good update. Now let's check out Arc. Now Arc is very unique. I would say Arc is a main class. And the reason why Arc is a main class is because it's unique, and it's going to be one of those classes for the people that like Arc as a concept, having the demon arm. Okay, you're not going to be playing Arc because I mean it's definitely a damage mule, but you're not going to be playing Arc because for any other reason than you like the demon hand aesthetic and becoming a demon. Okay, and if you like it, it's going to be your probably your main or your secondary main. So I already know Arc, even if the damage was at the bottom, and I think it's kind of in the middle. I would say it's more towards the top, but it's as long as you're above like half, as long as you're above like what 26 Phantom, I think Phantom just got some buffs. Um I'd even say maybe even Fire Poison Mage, you're pretty good. Everything below half is kind of lower damage. So Battle Mage, I'm gonna be honest. Battle Mage needs a rework. Okay, it's cool. The idea of it is cool, but it's a part of the resistance. We can go ahead and put all the resistance classes in needs rework. I think everyone knows that. Everyone's complaining that mechanic in KMS, their new skill gets an upgraded mech, but they're not actually giving them an upgraded mech. You know what I mean? It's like that type of stuff. So all resistances need rework. Let's check their DPS. They're probably at the bottom. I can already Battle Mage. Ooh, wait. Oh, 20. Okay. Not bad, not bad. So Battle Mage, they're not bad, but you're probably not going to be playing Battle Mage. Like there's just tons of other classes that are better. Bishop is going to be a main. I mean, there's not much to say besides check the DPS real quick. Real quick. Bishop. Of course, Bishop's at the bottom. But the reason why Bishop is a main is because late game, people love you. You're going to heal. They're not meant for damage. They're literally meant for healing and surviving, so we can give them a pass on the DPS. They're literally not meant for that. Everyone's gonna love to have you in the party, and they're pretty cool aesthetic wise. Like they actually do have tons of cool skills and things like that. Like they summon a huge angel. Um, Blade Master. I would say Blade Master could be I think Blade Master is a main. And by the way, guys, this tier list is going to be a little bit different because you're really in three categories, okay, when you're playing Maple Story. It's either a main, it's not good enough to be your main, so it's going to be like a secondary main that you boss with, or it's just going to be sitting on your account, okay, and you're not going to be touching it. That's really it. You're either going to really play it, that's going to be your alternate bossing mule or bossing mules, and then you're not going to play it at all. So I'm actually going to be filling up the main category a lot more in this video. So Blaster is good. Let's check the DPS chart. I want to say 23. See, Blaster, I think Blaster already needs a rework. I don't know what exactly it is when it came out, but it wasn't even hype enough. The concept of Blaster itself isn't cool enough, in my opinion. When you have, you could be an Ice Lightning Wizard, you could be Kaiser, turn into a Dragon Knight. You could be Kinesis and literally have the purple snap. So there's just not enough going for Blaster, and I would consider Blaster in need of a rework immediately. Blaze Wizard, I think Blaze Wizard needs a rework too. The problem with Blaze Wizard, hear me out, guys. The problem with Blaze Wizard is it's kind of like in the name, Blaze Wizard. It's just a wizard that does fire. Now, why would you choose Blaze Wizard over a fire poison mage? You see what I'm saying? A fire poison mage gets a real summon. So the problem with Blaze Wizard is you're just throwing out a bunch of fireballs. And now that's cool. I get you. But if you don't make the fire like special, like I wouldn't even know how to begin to tell you what to do with Blaze Wizard. I think it's just the concept of only using fire when you could be a fire poison mage and have fire attacks, a summon, and use poison, and the class is a lot more aesthetic. I don't really see anything um, that Blaze Wizard has to offer. And that's really the problem with Blaze Wizard now. All right, let's check out the Blaze Wizard, and I'm going to show you guys what I mean. So
And since this is a direct attack, counter Chronos cooldown gets reduced
you
tremendously.
see right here,
This count multiple times with Phoenix driving. I like to call it.
it's just like literally throwing fireballs and everything, okay? It really doesn't make a cool class. I mean, not when you have cool classes coming out, every few months. And you're going to want to make a different main every month. So they're going to be in the needs rework. Let's go ahead and let's go to Bowmaster. No, now Bowmaster, I think we all know Bowmaster is a bossing mule. It's not the coolest to be shooting a bow, but it is the easiest. Now, I don't know if we're going to be getting their rework, which means that their puppet might be getting reworked and it might be useless now. That depends if we're getting the KMS buff. If that happens, it's actually going to go down and needs rework. Okay. I would argue that there's so many good classes, and especially with fifth job, you don't even need to really use Bowmaster. I mean, even for a bossing mule, but it is a bossing mule. So everyone knows Bowmaster. Bowmaster's pretty cool, but we're just gonna stick it in bossing as a bossing mule for right now. So let's go to Buccaneer. Now, Buccaneer was actually my first main, so I do know a lot about Buccaneer. Buccaneer was actually my very first main, and I'm actually glad it was because it's such a smooth class. Okay, Buccaneer is one of the only classes in Maple that's like completely buttery smooth. Okay, and I'm gonna show you what I mean by this. Okay, it's just like you don't need any summons. It's just you, and wherever you are, you do damage. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the boss moving. Um, you really don't have to worry about anything. I mean, you really just kind of pop your pop your fifth job skills and your hyper skills, and then that's it. you know. No, I do wish they had another iframe. That would be great. That's like the only downside. They need like one more iframe. And besides that, they're actually one of the fastest classes because they can skip around. I don't know. Call me biased. I'm not really biased because I've played every class. It's just like to have a class that's that smooth is incredible. You see that? You just press two buttons at the same time. And when you're lower levels too, or even at higher levels, and you're one hitting mobs, you can just do this the whole time. That's it. Um, so pretty cool. Absolutely insane main. Buttery smooth. Buttery. Buttery near? Buttery near? Okay. But oh no, okay. Kadina's a little hard, I'm not gonna lie. Kadina is a second main. And the reason she's a second main is because she does a lot of damage, but she is a little bit tricky. Um, you know what? She's actually main material because she's so unique that you're gonna want to main her if you play her. Okay. Um, she's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, I want to make it Kadina because I've never fully leveled one up. I've only played it a little bit up to enough to know that it's a lot of comboing and micromanagement. That might change soon over time. I think there's a fine line right now with Kadena and actually moving towards Blaster and needing a rework because she might be too skill intensive. But you know, so let's get on to Cannon Master. Canning Master, I think Cannon Master needs a rework. Um, for most of Cannon Master's skills, you can't move, and it's pretty clunky. And you don't want a clunky class. There's just the aesthetic of having a cannon is kind of cool. I mean, I would say it's cool, but I think it just kind of gets lost in the sauce. I think it needs a bigger, better cannon skills if that makes sense or something to make it unique. Because most of its skills are just that, blasting a cannon. But how can you add on to that? Maybe add some elemental stuff. Um, you know, Corsair, I would say second main. Corsair is the second main because they're pretty cool, but they're not main material. You're not gonna want to main them as much as you would any of the other classes. They've kind of fallen in the fallen in the ranks. Let's check the DPS charts. Low key. See, Kadina's up there. Exactly, Kadina's up there. So that's why it's again it's a main. But what are we looking at? Corsair and Cannon Master. Corsair in the middle, so you can still do damage, and then Cannon Master, Cannoneer down here, yeah, on the lower end. So I think Cannon Master needs rework. Corsair is pretty cool. Um, Dark Knight, ooh, Dark Knight needs rework. Okay, I've played Dark Knight. They're very clunky. They don't have enough AoE skills. Like they have AoE skills, don't get me wrong, but it's either Beholder that lasts for a few seconds or it's one where they have to be there. It would be great if they actually had a big Beholder summon AoE and that it would just stay there for like 60 seconds. That's what it Dark Knight needs. But because it's too clunky and they took away the original Dragon Buster and Roar skills that literally made Maplestory Maplestory. Like Dragon Knights were the class, and they took all of the skills that made them the class. And I don't know, it's just something about the Dark Knight aesthetic isn't as um it doesn't grab your attention as much as any of the other classes. The aesthetic of just being a Dark Knight when you could be Or you could be Kinesis, Kaiser, ride a mechanic, Ho Young. Um, it just needs better skills. You know, if it had better skills, I'm pretty sure people would play it more. You know, it's pretty up there. I used to be a Dark Knight as a Dark Knight main. Um, I was never really fond of any of the new skills they gave us because I just felt like every other skill was better. Now, I will say they are good bossing mules. If you could put them anywhere, you could put in a bossing mule, but I'm going to put it in needs rework just because beyond bossing, Dark Knight should be an all around good class. But they are really good at bossing. I will give them that because you can revive. Dawn Warrior, second main material, I think. Maybe even for Dawn Warrior. Dawn Warrior could be main material, okay? Because Dawn Warrior is unique enough. They have the sun. They actually made Dawn Warrior way cooler. They got the sun, the moon, and the black holes. Um, pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. They have some amazing skills. They're some of the strongest. They were one of the strongest classes when they got reworked. Let's see where they are now. Ooh, hold on. Dawn Warrior. Dawn Warrior, they're down there, I'm not gonna lie. They must have got nerfed. Okay. But they're still unique enough. You know what I mean? They're pretty cool. They did get nerfed though, I'm not gonna lie. That was one of the main reasons they were up there. I'm gonna put them in second main just because they got kind of nerfed. And that was one of the main selling points for them is they had a lot of damage. So we're definitely going in second main material. Demon Avenger needs rework. Demon Avenger is terrible. Let's see where it is on the DPS charts. It's usually high. It's usually high up there. Yeah, Demon Avenger is high up there. Now, the reason why y'all haven't, I might have a Demon Avenger. Actually, I can show y'all. All right, you see that? That's Demon Avenger right there. That's Demon Avenger. That little AOE is Demon Avenger. I want to say this is probably the worst class in the game in terms of mobility and AOE. Like, it's terrible playing this class when you're trying to level it up and grind it. Okay. Now, yes, I will give it its due. It does do a lot of damage. It's pretty cool that you only have HP, but the fact that it's clunky and it's so hard to train because it's such a small AoE, and this is most of their skills and their damage. And it's just, I want to say this is probably the worst class in the game. Like, Demon Avenger is that bad. That bad. It's just you can't be in a game, you can't play Maplestory, especially with where they're going in Grandis and having huge maps and you needing to level up Soul Janus. I mean, I guess that's kind of okay. Um, but I mean, I guess that makes sense because you have Soul Janus, but you still have to invest so many fragments. You're gonna have a tough time even getting there. Yeah, Demon Avenger needs way bigger skills, basically. Give them two. They need two giant AOE's. Like take Kanna for example, clears out the whole map. It has like five different skills that can clear out the whole map, and then you can barely even clear out like a quarter with Demon Avenger. Okay, so terrible. Demon Slayer. Now on the other hand, Demon Slayer, mainable. Okay, cool aesthetic. The first demon, the that's what you want. You want Demon Slayer. Okay, let's look at Demon. Now, I will admit, Demon Slayer is a bit clunky. Okay. Demon Slayer's a bit clunky. Okay. I will admit that. But I think it makes up for it later on when you get stronger, when you get your masteries, when you get fifth job. I think the AoEs, the massive attacks, the damage, the aesthetic of it makes it mainable. Now, do be aware it is clunky. So for me, I do want to put it in second main because of just how clunky it is. But I'm going to leave it in main just because I know Demon Slayers are fans of Demon Slayers. Shout out to you. Subscribe because I just put you in main. Hey, um, Demon Slayers love Demon Slayers, and there's a reason why. Because they have a cool class, they summon a bunch of stuff, they do a lot of damage, um, and rightly so. Evon is gonna be crazy. Now look, Evon is at the top of the damage charts. Okay, the thing about Evon, it's very weird because I was I've made Evon when it first came out. I've made it when they first reworked it. I made it recently. And the problem with Avon is it's cool, but you having to combo your skills, it's not for everyone. So even I'm gonna say it needs a rework. And I know before, hold on, if you're an Avon main, you know what I'm talking about. It's just a weird class. You gotta return mirror and you gotta combo his class. Why can't you just have a cool dragon and they just make it simpler? You summon a bunch more dragons and then have like normal skills, you know? Because I mean, you basically have to main it. Like if you it should I want to put it in second main, right? It's either second main or main. Like if you really want to learn Yvonne, you can learn it. But because of just the way it is, I feel like it needs a rework. So so it, people can pick it up easier, you know? Um, that's basically what it is. I'm sorry. I don't like how you have to return mirror and you got to combo the skills and your mirror is gone from you and then you're just using little AoEs of mana bolts. Like if you're going to be a dragon master, why am I using little mana bolts? Why can't I ride the dragon most of the time and then be throwing out different I don't know, like you know what I mean? Like it could be something else. Something else going on than just see a mirror just or mirror doing whatever, standing on a mountain shooting out fire. Um I don't know, it's just awkward, I guess you could say. So fire poison is a main. Any of and I'm gonna put ice lightning while we're here. I'm gonna put ice lightning while we're here because fire poison, ice lightning, you get two different aesthetic because of the two different aesthetics you get the fire poison and ice lightning and you get summons, you get full map AoEs. They've really treated these classes well. Mages in Maplestory do feel really good to play. I'm much more of a warrior guy, but I do think that Ice Lightning is one of the coolest classes in the game, if not the coolest. You know, you get to summon a storm, like a literal lightning storm that follows you. You get to summon one of the original summons of the game. I forgot the name of the Ice Lightning one. I think the fire one's Ifrit, which looks equally as cool. Um, and then you throw fucking you get to throw lightning everywhere. So fire, poison, ice, lightning, they definitely did them right. Okay, you can definitely main those. You're not gonna feel bad about maining either of them, and they should be doing good, decent damage. So fire, poison's in the middle. Ice, lightning. Wow, that's actually surprising. Ice, lightning is a tad bit weaker, but honestly, I wouldn't even care. I would still go for ice, lightning. You know what I mean? It's not when you're a main it's not too much about the damage. It's more about how good does the class feel and is every other class release going to make you try to change your mind? Like no, you want to be how I felt in Buccaneer. Like it's so buttery smooth, like I'm not going to change my main until something really good comes out. You know what I mean? Um Hayato, I think they did Hayato's the second main. No, I want to say Hayato's the second main because it's a very cool aesthetic. We're probably going to be getting the KMS class very soon. The new one that came out, Lynn, and that's just basically going to destroy Hayato, to be honest, because it's the first key down hurricane skill that you can like flash jump with. It's going to be crazy. But the thing about Hayato is They just never did it justice for being a samurai. Like, I think it's cool, don't get me wrong, but I think it could be cooler. And the aesthetic of just being a samurai is cool, don't get me wrong, but it needs to be cooler. Um, let's check their DPS real quick. Oh, I don't even think they have Hayato. Yeah, they don't even have Hayato over there, so we don't even know. But Hayato, it's a cool class. I mean, if you want it, you're gonna probably play it as a second main. I don't. You might play it as a first main, maybe. Hero needs a rework. The reason why Hero needs a rework is because it's just a. I'm not gonna say it needs a rework. I don't know what they're gonna do with Hero. I mean, I guess Hero is just a hero. You know what I mean? It's just a class. That's all it is. It's just a class at that point. It's a warrior. It's your main class, and I don't think it would be put in. I don't want to put in main because you're probably gonna find a better aesthetic. Let's not spend too much time on hero. It's just like the most basic class there is. You know what I mean? You're gonna be a warrior that does damage, and you're gonna be swinging your sword. You know what I mean? What else is there to say? Ho Young, main, instant main. Okay, this dude is literally like flying on top of clouds with gods. Now, I used to be a Ho Young main. Okay, once upon a time, it's very micromanagement heavy, but even with that, still a great class. Like hands down, very unique. See, that's the thing. You want a unique class. You know what I mean? Very unique, insane. Ho Young's great. Like, there's not much to say about Ho Young. Like, you're not gonna like Ho Young, basically. Yeah, you're gonna have to micromanage it and then cycle through all your skills, but that's it at the end of the day. Let's go look up Ho Young.
One thing I really like about Ho Young is the fact that none of their skills throughout every single job, first through fifth, and soon to be sixth, are useless or taper off and become less worth using over the others. So let's start there, all the way from first job. Here, you got
See, I mean, you heard him all the way from first job. Ho Young is a good class, and you're gonna be using everything. So that's what I'm saying. It's just like a good all around class. It's gonna feel worth it. You transform into like a rock and then crash down. Oh, let me see if I can find it. Which I like. It's one of my. And this is what see. You know how earlier in the video I was talking about it has to feel good. Ho Young feels good. Like it has what Adele doesn't have. Okay, like when you look.
It has an 11-second cooldown, and since it's so good, I'd recommend putting it on an alert because you'll always want to use it.
Yeah, so you got to micromanage and run through all your skills,
Great skill.
but it feels good. This right
It
here.
can be used in the air and it has a little bleed effect, which is kind of nice as a debuff, but it's mostly whatever compared to its actual skill damage. This
See that little skill right there changes up Ho Young's whole flow because it feels so good. It makes you feel like an actual rock. And that's what Adele is missing. It doesn't, the swords flying around, it feels too light. Okay. It needs to feel heavy.
debuff, but it's mostly whatever compared to its actual
See that?
damage.
Boom. That's the type of skills you want because Maplestory is about grinding, it's about bossing, it's about the skills. Okay. So Ho Young, main. Okay. Illium, main. Il- Bro, Illium is crazy. Yo, Illium is oh, hold on. Illium. Illium is literally the craziest job in MapleStory.
It's called Vortex Wings. You'd think in front of you in match full right before entering a boss. You enter Wings of Glory.
Look, it's called Wings of Glory, okay? You basically get wings on your back and then you just fly around the map just killing shit, okay? Illium is bonkers.
Just as long as they're out and summon.
And they summon stuff, which is pretty cool.
If you place one spirit,
Hold on. We gotta find it.
initially on its own, it lasts for 4 seconds, which can go down to about half that, depending on if it ends before the duration. Get to in just a second. If you hold down and click this skill, you use crystalline spirits for even more beams without the damage reduction penalty of spirit. And during Wings of Glory, the beams just appear automatically.
See, look. Okay, so look at that. You basically just fly around the map, just destroying stuff. Okay, and then you get you get some pretty cool summons too. I'm not gonna lie, you get some pretty cool summons.
Focusing on either wherever the
Some of the cool summons in the game. Now, what I will say, there's only one little drawback to Illium, which is, let's check the DPS charts real quick. See number 9, pretty good. Illium is that you have to focus it around the crystalline ball, but that's not too big of an issue because later on you're going to be able to move it. And I think you get like 2 of them, and you get like skills where you don't even need it. Like when you're in your wing form, you don't even need it. So, not too much of a downside, but definitely the most OP class in Maplestory by far. Okay, Kain. Kain is a main. I think Kain is a main because Kain is for the people that like Bowmaster or Marksman, but want something cooler, want something better, basically. Because it gets kind of boring just shooting arrows. Why not shoot Dark Dragon arrows? You know what I mean? So Kain is a main. I don't want to go too in depth about Kain's skills because it's basically just big AoE arrows that look like dark dragons. Um, you know what? Actually, let's look up Kain. We'll look up Kain. Let's look up Kain.
Fifth job is maybe save one or two of them to clear them out if you're
So yeah, you're basically got a crossbar on your arm and you're just shooting dark arrows everywhere.
but also useful in solo play, giving extra damage and attack, increasing death blessing.
So the reason why I'm putting it in main, let me check. See, it's up there. Is because it does good damage, and it's something for the bowmans that want something different. Kanna main. Kanna is insane. Now, look, I understand. Actually, let me check the DPS. We don't have a DPS. I understand. They nerfed Kanna. She probably doesn't do a lot of damage, and they removed your Kishin skill that doubles the mob rate. I understand. But the aesthetic, the skills, the full map AoEs makes Kanna a great mains, in my opinion, still. You're probably going to have to fund her a little bit more. But you're going to be doing insane damage if you do. You're going to be killing the whole map with just one button press. You're probably standing in one position the whole time you're farming or grinding. And you have a few different summons that are pretty cool. So Kanna's a main just because you have a lot of unique skills. Unlike Hayato. See, that's why I put Hayato in second main. Because compared to Kanna, man, Kanna just has insane skills when Hayato just has a lot of different just slashes, I guess, when it's just completely different. Kaiser is a main. Now, I don't think. Oh, right here. So Kaiser does damage. Kaiser's a main because it's a very unique class. If you don't know anything about Kaiser, you basically you're like a Dragon Knight and you can transform and do more damage when you're transformed. Yeah, pretty good. I think it's good at bossing now too, especially after the update. But it's just something very unique that you're gonna like. It is a little bit clunky, I'm not gonna lie to you. It is a little bit clunky. I don't like how the main attack I'm not too big a fan of the main attack. I wish it would attack more. And that the fifth job actually might fix that. But yeah, it's unique, and you can change the colors on your armor, and it's something you would like as a main. You know, you log in your Kaiser looks way different because you got purple and gold or something, and that's just something you know you kind of like as a main. Kali, I think Kali's the second main, and the reason I say that is because her skills are I haven't played Kali that much, so I don't want to say too much about her, but I know she's unique enough, so I'm gonna put her in second main, and that's all I'm gonna say about Kali. Sorry. Kinesis, main, main, main. When he did Purple Hollow, he gets a new fifth job skill. That's basically Purple Hollow. Or is it sixth job? Sixth job skill. Purple Hollow. Boom! Bro, let's look it up. We gotta look it up. We gotta look it up. Hold on, we gotta look it up. All right, this right here. All right, bro, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Now, if you haven't watched Jujutsu Kaisen, bro, dude is literally Gojo. Bro, main, 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 main. That's all I gotta say. Main, main. Lara? Ooh, Lara's kind of weird. Lara is definitely a main because of how unique they are, but you have to like the class. Just throwing that out there. You do have to like the class. Pretty cool. Not for me, obviously. I like to hit people with my fist or a spear. Okay. Luminous, trash. Needs rework. Lynn, man, second main. You know, they made Lynn used to be Beastmaster, okay? And they changed Beastmaster from Lynn. And you know, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not feeling it. I feel like Beastmaster was better. Does anybody relate? Drop a comment, subscribe. I feel like Beastmaster was better than Lynn. I'm not feeling no soul from Lynn. Beastmaster had soul. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like Lynn just I don't even remember Lynn anymore. I don't even think about Lynn. I think Lynn is Lara sometimes, and I think Beastmaster is still Beastmaster. Or Beast Tamer, my bad. Beast Tamer. So, Marksman, obviously Boss Mule. We're going right there with Boss Mule. Um, pretty basic skills. I think it has one of the coolest skills in the game where you actually like get down and then the whole screen becomes like a little sniper scope. Um, Mechanic, main worthy. Okay. One of my second mains is actually Mechanic. And Mechanic is very cool because you can summon a lot of things and it feels good. It just feels good to play. It's very unique. You're riding a bot. And I think hopefully in the future, they're gonna give us a bigger mech. And if that day ever comes, all of us mechanic mains will be the coolest class in Maplestory. If we just had a bigger mech. That's all we need. We just need to be a little taller. You know what I mean? Mercedes is a mule. XP mule. Very clunky. Pretty clunky. Yeah, pretty clunky. Kind of fell behind in the times. Honestly, rework. It needs a rework because of just how much it fell. It's too clunky. Its skills need to be updated. They need to be bigger. Needs more AoE. Um, every skill just needs to be bigger. Let's check the DPS charts for Mercedes. Whoa, Mercedes is up there. What? Okay, okay. You know what? Because Mercedes has been a faithful XP mule and everyone has to make her for like literally the second or first character you make because of the XP buff, we're gonna go to second main. I'm gonna give her a little bit of credit just because she does damage. For all you Mercedes mains out there, don't hate me. I feel like she might need a rework, but the damage is there. And damage is worth stuff. Like damage is worth it, okay? Mahile, trash. Like, come on. We already know Mahile is just bad. And I think what they should do is just make Mahile like half god, like zero. Like just make it half god and like just destroy the whole map and make it do a lot more damage. I think that would work. Um, but other than that, it does have like one cool skill where it makes like a giant bubble shield, and like that's it. But at that point, just make a paladin, you know? Night Lord, second main, not first, second. And there's a reason for this. I've played Maplestory ever since the beginning. And while Night Lord does feel better than Night Walker, there's still something about just throwing stars versus, the skill I showed you earlier with Ho Young. Something that feels like you're actually turning into the stone and dropping and like doing damage. Night Lord a lot of times lacks that. It's a very light class, if that makes sense. Like you're doing a lot of damage, but it's very easy. I mean, you're really just throwing your stars at it, and that's kind of it. And sometimes you want more, basically. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to stay a Night Lord when you could be Kinesis and then be throwing trains at people and then be doing Gojo's attack or mechanic and writing something, or Illium and literally tapping a button, flying around the map and destroying everything. It feel like there are just other classes that feel a lot better than just lightly throwing stars. I don't know if that makes sense. But this is just someone who's played for a very long time. I've made Night Lords before. I used to love Night Lord, okay? Um, but it's just a little bit light. Nightwalker, man, it's crazy. I was about to make a Nightwalker main, and I played for 9 months to get balanced Furies. Okay, and then they just completely wrecked its damage, and yeah, trash. Now it needs a rework. Don't even make a Nightwalker. I'm so sad that I made one and spent all that time. Make a Night Lord instead. You know what I mean? Why not? Paladin main. Okay, you're smacking bosses with a freaking hammer and they can't kill you, main. And Paladin does have some of the best skills, I feel like. Hold on.
Hey,
Hey,
Lynn, frequently
frequently
worse
more
shine,
shine,
especially
especially
when
when
attacking
attacking
paladins use
paladins
their
use their
pulsing
pulsing
skill
so,
fast. Each time an enemy is hit by fast
imagine a
waves,
pal.
that
You
knocks that paladin
exactly.
back
You
to
take
life and
take
exposes the
Paladin
rest,
versus
killing
Hero,
them
for
each other.
example. The aesthetic of just being a paladin, a holy paladin, smacking people,
Making the damage.
being one,
Wait,
the
wait, what's this?
tankiest
Your shields are down.
class
Oh,
in the
sure,
game,
well, no
being
worries.
almost
Paladins are the
impossible to
youngest hero
kill.
pick in history nowadays.
It's a
It
lot,
also has no cooldown.
This is
Like
why
most
Paladin's
insane
actually one
defeats,
of the
it does
number
well
one
for effective
recommended bossing
damage, and when
mains.
everything else fails, there's
Because you can
still
barely die,
there's
especially for
still
like a first
insane
main.
solo potential.
Man,
Giant
you
Boss
get
is
your
classic
damage
for
up
a
as a
very fun
paladin
but
for your first
unfortunately
main, you're in
balanced
there.
other high
I
potential
would
tactics
recommend
combined.
something with very
Using
high
both
damage
crossfire
for
and
your first
other
main,
skills
so you can
together
start doing
does still
5%,
have an
but
insane
you're also
DPS
going to be
bonus
dying to a
globally
lot. See, look
regardless
at
of
all
what
that.
skill places it.
Yeah. So Paladin, let's check the DPS charts because Paladin is probably going to be down there. Ooh, hold on. See, it's a little bit down there. But that's okay because think about it. It's still in the middle, but it's literally the tankiest class. Okay, so shout out to Paladin. Pathfinder. Pathfinder is going to be, I think it needs a rework. Okay, hear me out. And the reason why is because if you take Kain, which is the best example, what they really did is they really just threw a color on top of Marksman and Bowmaster. Now, when Kain, they did it right. When they did Pathfinder, it just looks like blobs of purple. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. So you know what I mean? You can do it, but you gotta do it right.
turrets to help out with
So if you
moving.
watch this
Dwarf
video,
turrets are especially useful when moving. One of your common 50
like that's
skills,
it. It's
Imperial Blowout,
basically
is
just
an
bowmen.
upgrade to your good old Birdo, so this one can help out a bit more when grinding and of course when
See,
farming.
they
And in true
it's
Archer
literally just
fashion,
bowmen
it's
but
a
with purple.
tornado that moves around the map. If your Fury of the Wild skill is active, the
And
tornado
then I
becomes
guess I get
even
a
stronger as well.
tornado from Wind Archer.
Grinding is super easy on this class.
So another
Turtle attacks are
reskin.
pretty powerful and don't need a lot
This
of
literally
support.
just feels like a
Just move
reskin, you know
around
what I
and
mean?
even use your
So
buff
at
to
that
get around
point,
quickly. Bossing wise, there are a
I don't know
few
if they
good
get the
things to note.
puppet. At that point, why wouldn't you just make a Bowmaster, you know? I mean, if you want like a purple Bowmaster, that's just what Pathfinder is. Like it's nothing unique. Like they it's so sad that they even did that, but they you saw it yourself. They literally just took Wind Archer's tornado and they just slapped purple on it. So, yeah. Um but shout out to Kane though. Phantom Phantom is cool. I'm gonna put it in second main because if you want, you can main Phantom. You can get a lot of Explorer skills. You can steal skills, but they haven't treated Phantom right. I'm be real with you. You know what? I'm gonna put it needs rework just because even if you main this class, you're probably going to not main it for very long because there are just so many more OP classes than Phantom. Phantom just came out a long time ago based on old explorers that didn't do that much damage or didn't really destroy the whole map like they did now. So I don't know. They just need to give it some love, you know. So Shade's the second main. Shade can do some damage. Shade Shade's just missing something. It's like Shade feels good, but it's missing almost soul, if that makes sense. I'm gonna put it in just a boss meal. I'm gonna put it as a boss meal. I don't even want to put it in second main. I feel like it's missing soul. And when I mean soul, like what's the actual backstory on Shade? You know what I mean? I don't even remember really. Um, it just doesn't I don't think it feels good, you know? Like all your skills are different color animal spirits, I guess. And that's cool, but it's just missing something and I don't know what it is. It just doesn't do it. It's kind of like Adele. It just doesn't do it. And I don't know why. Like Aran, like it's cool in theory. Like you know what I mean? Like Aran is doing the same thing. It's doing all these spirit animals for what? What about the character themselves? And that's what they need to focus on more. Hey, look at that. I got it. Okay, Shadower is either a main or a secondary main. Check the GPS charts. Ooh, fourth. Okay, yeah, see. Shadower is a main. They've been showing Shadower some love lately, and it does a lot of damage. So it's a good main. And you attack crazy fast. It's pretty cool. Now, while I do think there are other aesthetics um, that you would enjoy, you know what I mean? Like other things in here that you might want to main. I do think Shadower is a viable option. So shout out to Shadower. Thunderbreaker, disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Disgusting from the original Thunderbreaker. Okay? Disgusting. Okay? You're going around swinging an anchor. You're not even Thunderbreaker anymore. You used to you used to throw sharks at people. You used to fist people with thunder sharks. Okay? And now you're swinging an anchor. What happened? Okay? I feel like it just got lost in the sauce. So, yeah, I feel like Thunderbreaker needs a rework. Like these classes, they look cool on the outside, but when you really dig into them, it's it was all fluff. You know, they need more in depth. They need focusing on who the character is, really making it shine. Like these at the top, because all these at the top, they gang bang. All these are gang bangers at the top. Okay. All right. Wild Hunter. Funny, I'm saying that. Wild Hunter. We all know Wild Hunter needs a rework. Wild Hunter is trash. Okay. Almost as trash as Demon Adventure. Wind Archer, a lot of people were talking stuff to me about Wind Archer. And I'll say this, it's still trash. Xenon main. Okay, so I made the Xenon on Challenger World. Yo, Xenon is OP, bro, just as OP as Illium because it has like it has like a 15-second cooldown iframe or 10-second cooldown iframe. It's insane, bro. And then if you hold down your Omega Blaster, you're invincible for like 15 seconds. And then that's on top of, you being able to be invincible again on your six job skill or origin skill. Insane. Okay. And then it has the skill where you fly around and just kill everything. Xenon gets that for his origin skill. So Xenon, crazy OP. Okay. Zero, secondary main. And the reason why Zero is a secondary main is because you only get a certain amount of skills with Zero. And they're the same skills and you use them over and over. That's why you don't see too many zeros, is because you just cycle through your skills over and over and over and over, and there's only like one cycle. You know what I mean? It's the whole combo. You do the little slash, you throw the sword, you zip, you do the tornado, you do the bigger slash, and then it just repeats over and over and over. And sheesh, it does a lot of damage. It has like 5 iframes, and then slows down the boss or freezes the boss. So it's insanely OP. Don't get me wrong. Okay. And it should be going in main, but I feel like you're probably going to get tired of pressing the same 5 skills over and over and over again. Just that one little combo. And that's the real problem with Zero. I think they should just break up that combo completely and just give it skills like a normal class. You know what I mean? Maybe just make that one combo, literally make that one combo one skill that gets upgraded all throughout fifth job, like Aran or Demon Slayer. Like they could literally replace Zero's entire kit with just one skill, making a basic attack that that changes as you attack. Like I don't know, and then give it like 10 more new skills. That's what Zero needs. But I think, yeah. So this is my tier list. What do you guys think? Drop a comment below. Please subscribe. What do you think? Is this your main? Do you agree with me? Is your main a main? Is it a second main? Is it a boss mule? Is it a mule? Is it a mule? Do you think it needs a rework? Do you agree with me? That's it. Make sure you subscribe. I'm Legendary Boss. Peace.